very much. A lot of people will ask me, what is a developer evangelist? The nice thing about my job is that if you get 3 of us in a room and ask us what a developer evangelist is, you'll get 4 different answers. And we'll swap answers on different days. It's absolutely wonderful. Today, what I'm here to do is to talk to you about one of Amazon's experiments with a rewards program. Now, we heard earlier in the day some really neat discussion about you've always got to be experimenting, you've always got to be trying. Amazon does, which also means we fail a lot, a whole lot. We make more mistakes than y'all combined. I mean, we're really good at failing. If you guys as marketers haven't had a really exciting fail lately, you're not trying hard enough. Seriously. I want to sit down and talk with you and find out what each of your failure has been recently. Failure is that instructional to us. And one of the great ways that we can fail and feel good about it are things like A/B testing. You're familiar with A/B testing. You have 2 or 3 ad creatives. You put 2 of them up against each other. You've changed one thing. You find out which one performs better. The other one could be a miserable failure, but at least you've got one that's not. I mean, it may not be a huge amount better, but at least you know what's not a failure. And so we do this not just with, button shapes, button sizes, with ad copy, but we also do this with ways to market products and services that we sell. And, well, I'd like you to come on a journey with me as we talk about the Amazon Appstore's experience with creating rewards campaigns. So, first of all, what is the Amazon Appstore? The Amazon Appstore, like Google Play or Apple App Store, is a way that you can get Android apps and games to your Amazon devices, your BlackBerry devices, and your other third-party Android devices. It includes things like Fire TV. Have you guys heard of Fire TV? Oh, God, I was hoping to see more hands than that. Okay, we may do a short breakout on what the heck Fire TV is, but it's a streaming media service. If you've heard of Roku, it's way better. If you've heard of Apple TV, we've got way more content. Google may have something, they don't even come close. Trust me, the Amazon product is way better. And one of the things that we were doing with this is we really wanted people to go ahead and buy premium content for Fire TV on the Amazon App Store, which means we wanted them to get their first or renew their HBO, Cinemax, Showtime subscription through Amazon as opposed to any other channel that they had for that. So that's the Amazon App Store. What is a rewards campaign? A rewards campaign is rewarding a customer for taking a valuable action. Typically, rewards campaigns are associated with loyalty programs. For example, if you have enough cups of coffee, we'll give you a free muffin. Or in my case, if you fly around the world 7 times, you get enough miles for a bag of chips. And typically the miles they give you are the rewards campaign and that loyalty program. And it's this point that I want to talk about, because when we were thinking about how we're going to move the needle on this, we looked at all of the potential options available to us. We looked at omni-channel advertising. We looked at blitz advertising. We looked at stealth marketing. We looked at growth marketing and all of the little gizmos that attach there. We looked at doing sales, putting things on sale. Now, there's a great solid tradition of marketing for you. You want to sell more stuff, you put it on sale. Well, in the words of an earlier speaker, that's not going to help us eat more hot dogs. Right? That's what our competitors are doing. They're putting stuff on sale. What can we do that could be brilliant or be a really great failure to talk about? Well, what we decided is that a rewards campaign has a bunch of benefits over putting something on sale. First of all, it doesn't train users to wait for a sale. In the US, I've got this mattress company not too far from my house. And I swear to you guys, they have an annual going out of business sale. And every year, spring, hey, guess what? They're going to go out of business again this year. Let's wait until we buy a mattress until they have that sale. Rewards campaigns don't tend to train customers to do that. 2, rewards campaigns can be targeted. Sales, when you advertise them in mass media, they apply to everyone who reads this. Rewards campaigns can be very specifically targeted. Ours was a very digital campaign. You would apply and interact with it digitally. Again, the App Store is digital. This makes perfect sense. But we could target exactly the customers we didn't think would buy it at full price, but we thought would buy it if we offered them just a little bit of an extra push. And a rewards campaign is perfect for targeting. Third thing, a rewards campaign, unlike a sale, can be used for a whole lot more than selling stuff, we've discovered. And we fell in love with this idea. So there are 3 specific goals that we had in order to kind of move the needle that we wanted to move. We wanted to generate more first-time subscribers, easy KPI to measure. We wanted to generate more repeat subscribers, easy KPI to measure. And we wanted more people to open the mail that said, please subscribe or resubscribe. Again, easy KPI to measure. Guys, it's important to have KPIs you can measure easily so you know whether what you're spending money on is working or not. Don't be the half you don't know about or something along those lines. Anyway, so what did we do? Well, we're Amazon. We have a building, several buildings full of engineers, so we built a service. Now, we didn't start by building a service because we started kind of at the experiment level where we did a lot of this work manually. And you don't have to make a huge investment to do the experiment to find out if it works. Unfortunately, it worked. And for a long time, we were sitting there manually typing in and sending out rewards from the Amazon store. And, okay, we've got millions of things in the Amazon store that we could offer as rewards. And when our customers would pick stuff, here we are going through and sending out stuff. It was really a painful process manually. So getting the buildings full of developers to write this service for us was great. One of the neat benefits it has is it makes it really easy to put things into a very structured order so you can figure out what customer action is going to be valuable enough to reward. How much is it worth if they take that action? We'll help you find a bunch of products in the Amazon store that are pretty popular, or you can choose a very specific one that will let you issue as a reward. And we use the engineers to do a couple things. One, we don't ever want the engineers to have to engage with us again. We wanted the marketing team to be able to run the whole thing, and marketers change their mind about as often as a moon changes phase. It's a remarkable thing engineers just don't want to have to be accountable for. So they made it super easy for marketers just to own the whole thing. Second thing is, they wrote it so that it really helped us focus on cost per action. And that was very important because we got super caught up in all of these millions of really cool prizes that we could offer. And we lost sight of the fact that what we're doing is we're rewarding our customers or potential customers for taking an action that matters. Let me break this down a little bit. If we decide to send you a $25 gift certificate, and I'm going to pick on you if that's all right. We've decided that we're going to send you a $25 gift certificate because you've signed up for our newsletter. You get the gift card home, you go out and you spend $15 of it. Wonderful. Well, what about the other $10? Do we care that you haven't spent the other $10? Am I going to go knock on your door and say, spend the other $10 or give it back? No. Nobody's going to do that. As a matter of fact, I don't care if she spends any of the $25 in that gift card because, one, I don't have any agency. Amazon doesn't have any agency over what they do with that reward. That's out of our hands. That's all in your hands, what you do with that reward. And we've got to respect that. And if you run a rewards campaign, you can't care what people do with their coffee beans, airline miles, or gift card dollars. You don't have agency there. It's not your business. What is your business is making sure that that $25 gift card was worth the action she took of signing up for that newsletter. So when you're thinking about what rewards to give in a campaign, if it's beans, miles, or real-world products, it's got to be worth the action that's taken. We'll come back and we'll touch on this later, because this is a very important thing to remember. So we really helped focus on cost per action, and at the end, instead of using any of the millions of prizes available at Amazon, we offered a $10 store credit for anyone who renewed. We offered a $10 credit for anyone who actually signed up and subscribed. And we mentioned the fact that there was this really cool rewards program in the subject line of all the mail we sent out. We reserve the right to wake up smarter tomorrow. And we've woken up smarter. Again, all of these real-world devices that will show up in a box on someone's front door, which is a delightful thing, having someone send you a present like that, and we send out a gift card. Okay, not the smartest thing we've ever done, but again, we wake up smarter. Nevertheless, it actually worked fairly well. We generated 5 times as many first-time subscribers than the offer without the rewards campaign. We generated 2 times as many resubscribers as we did without the rewards campaign. And we had 2 times as many people open the mail when the rewards campaign was in the subject line as people did when the reward campaign was not in the subject line. All right, those are pretty good results. We were pretty happy with that. And so was the rest of Amazon. When the rest of Amazon saw that, they said, hey, we want to do the rewards campaign too. It's not just you Appstore guys, we want to do this too. So, back to the building full of engineers, make this more robust so that it becomes marketer proof at Amazon. And we go ahead and we let it run wild within the company. And everybody loves the results that they're getting. Now, it's really, Amazon, we're like the home of we keep data on everything. And so it was very easy for us to know if a customer does this action, on average, it will be worth $7.50. It is worth $2.80 for us to get the customer to take this action. Is this going to work in a rewards program, yes or no? So it was really easy for people around the company to think that way and figure that out. So the parts of the company that did this with us were really remarkably successful. And, well, that got us to thinking, holy cow, if this works everywhere inside Amazon, I'll bet it works everywhere outside of Amazon too, doesn't it? Right? Well, remember, we reserve the right to wake up smarter tomorrow. I'll tell you about that in part 3, the stuff we learned. But yeah, so we went ahead and we looked for partners to try this with us. Now, we looked for partners that were kind of like us. They knew their business. They had the data on their business. They knew whether or not something would be profitable for a user to do, and they knew roughly how much money they would make if they did it. So we'd ask these partners to join us and try to test some rewards campaigns. And the results we got were so impressive, we put the results on a slide. Now, this is a slide we want you guys to take pictures of, because these are all the really pretty numbers, right? You look at those numbers and you go, ooh and ah. Thank you, thank you. I got a couple oohs and ahs out of that. I appreciate that. Wonderful. This is going to end up on a web page somewhere someday, trust me. But what I want to do with you guys now, in addition to running over chairs, I want to go ahead and drill down into what's behind these numbers with you guys. Because those are some pretty impressive numbers. But what do those numbers really tell us? Well, the first thing is, we learned that if you have a zero cost of goods item to sell, you are in 7th heaven with reward programs. Now, who do you think has a zero cost of goods sold item that they can sell? I'm sorry?
Video streaming.
Video streaming. It doesn't really cost me that much more to stream yet one more copy of the show. Perfect example. Games. I love that example because I work with a lot of game publishers. And one of the companies that we had had a game. It was a freemium game. So they had a lot of in-app purchase items that they were selling for actual real money. Their cost of goods sold on a gem pack, $0. $50 gem pack, cost of goods sold, $0. So if we offer a $24 speaker for someone to get a $50 gem pack, we still make $26 for each and every one we sell? Oh my God, tell everyone. Tell everyone you can find that we've got this going on. Wait a minute. And not just that. If you've been spending $50 on gem packs, no. Spend $100 and I'll send you a $24 speaker. You see how that works? It's really great if you have a zero cost of good items sold. And yes, that was where a lot of the magic came from. And when you see huge magical numbers shown up on a slideshow, ask what the cost of goods sold was, because that was certainly one of the beautiful things we saw. One of the other beautiful things we saw was that the impact of having a rewards campaign lasts 30 days after the campaign ends. That never happens when we did sales. When we would run a sale, the sale would be over and nobody cared anymore because the sale's over. But a rewards campaign, my gosh, we ran a 30-day rewards campaign. And as soon as the rewards campaign was over, we were pretty happy because, the customer saw about 2 times revenue boost with that. For 30 days after that campaign ended, we still saw a 2 times revenue boost from that campaign. There is something about doing things differently enough that people take notice, and it's like, hey, these people were giving out a really cool widget when I went out and bought this thing. That's kind of neat. I kind of like this. I'll come back to the store and see what they're doing. All right, they're still offering a widget, but that's cool. Oh man, they're not offering a widget anymore. I was really hoping they would offer a thingamabob. But all right, well, I still want whatever it was. So I'm going to go ahead and buy it. And that halo effect lasted a while. And the halo effect lasted when we were offering a physical, real-world good. It didn't last if we were offering a $10 gift card. Nobody cares about a $10 gift card is what you give your niece if you have no idea what she really wants for Christmas, right? So don't do what we did. Don't do that. Find something that's relevant to your business, that reminds people of who you are, that is very specific, maybe even one of your own products if it's for sale on Amazon. Go ahead and reward one of those things because, again, that's not something that most businesses do. And getting a real package on your doorstep with that little Amazon smile on it, well, that's kind of cool. And that halo effect creates a moment that people remember. And that's important. The reason I'm calling it, and it's important that we understand calling this a moment, because it ties back to a Dan and Chip Heath book I want you guys to read later. One of these moments of interacting with our brand at Amazon. Now, every time you interact with a brand, there will be a small handful of moments that determine your overall impression of your interaction with that brand. Getting something delivered on your doorstep when you do business with them electronically is one of those delightful little encounters. So if you were to, say, renew your HBO subscription and you got something on your doorstep for taking a digital transaction, that's a joyful moment. And that moment helps improve the perception of the brand. So that it's a physical good is actually pretty important in the equation and the effectiveness here. Second thing that's important to your business is make sure the action that people are taking is actually a reasonably important action. If you get people to sign up for your newsletter, and they actually do sign up for your newsletter, and they read your newsletter, if the copy and content in your newsletter stinks, a rewards campaign isn't going to fix that. Nothing's going to fix that. That's all on you guys. So make sure what you're actually trying to motivate people to do is certainly worth it. Now, if it's not, don't expect miracles. All right. So having made these observations about kind of what the experiences our partners had, we wanted to take a look at kind of how we break that down into what we learned about our own experiences and what we learned about our partner experiences. First of all, when we had our epiphany, oh my God, this will work for everyone. Kinda. But there are some groups where this works a whole lot better than others. Now, you have cameras, you guys can read. I'm going to leave the right-hand column. Now I'm going to leave the left-hand column for you guys to read on your own. I don't need to go over that for you. But if you do have questions about any of these, let me know. I've got really good examples of all of these companies using rewards programs. But what doesn't work well? Where you have a one-time advanced purchase of something and you're not expecting a whole lot of repeat business. You're thinking, what kind of a horrible business model is that? I know, right? But you have a one-time upfront purchase where you're not expecting any repeat business. Can you think of a business like that? Anyone? Okay, I'll tell you a great example of a business like that. Wedding dresses. You're really not expecting a lot of repeat business if everything goes well, right? And you get your payment up front. It's a one-time sale. I mean, you're not going to go ahead and gather the bride's, personal information and contact info, send her a teaser 6 months later. Hey, how's that Claude working out? Yeah, total loser. Come back, buy another dress for your next wedding. We'll give you 20% off. So, some businesses don't lend themselves well. I mean, honestly, sales work a whole lot better for the bridal industry than rewards programs do. Unfortunately, in the United States, the last dealership that sold me a car must have believed I would never come back and give them any repeat business, because that's the way they treated me. They treated me as if this was a one-time upfront payment and they were never going to see me again. Well, based on how they treated me, they've guaranteed they'll never see me again. But some businesses just are particularly bad for rewards programs. Textbooks at colleges, my son's in college. Honestly, the bookstore doesn't care whether he reads that book on stats. They just need him to buy it. Whether he passes or not, nobody really cares. He just needs to buy the book. And taxes. Really, your reward for paying taxes? Not going to jail. Okay, so there's a big incentive already for paying your taxes. Those things don't respond well to rewards programs. Everything else, for the most part, though, can. And one of the reasons it can is because rewards programs do more than just help you sell things. They can help you with one-time actions, signing up for a newsletter, buying something, making a reservation online at a restaurant. But they also help you build behaviors. This was a particularly great revelation for us when we figured out that we could use a reward campaign to build behaviors that we wanted in our customers. My favorite example of this is with an airline. Now, how many people have had their luggage lost by have had their luggage misplaced by an airline? Okay, it's not fun, right? When it happens and you realize your bag's not showing up, the first thing you do is you get out your phone, you find out what their customer service number is, you go through a 15-minute phone tree that really annoys the heck out of you, not like you weren't upset in the first place, right? You talk to a baggage claim agent who knows less about everything than you do. They promise you somehow they're going to fix everything, and you have no reason to believe that this is true, so you end up angry, frustrated, and without clothes. This is like a horrible experience. It costs the airline money, you're aggravated, the airline gets a worse reputation, bad for everyone. So airlines have done the smart thing. They've put on their apps a baggage tracking app. And it's really cool. When you go to the baggage tracking app, it'll show you what plane your bag last got on, what plane your bag got off of, and where it is now. And if it's not where you are now, you can type in an address and say, please have my bag delivered to this address. And then you'll get updates. So, well, your bag finally found its way to Amsterdam, Mr. Hines. And yes, we'll have it at the Hilton in just one day. Great, at least I only need to buy one extra set of underwear, right? And it gives me some hope. But the thing is, nobody does that when they find out their bag is missing. They call the agent and they go through all of that pain and trouble. So, here's what the airline does. Even if we haven't lost your bag, we want you to check the status of your bag using our app for your next 3 flights. If you do that, we'll send you this really cool leather baggage tag. Well, okay, I could use a really cool leather baggage tag, and it sounds like fun checking the location of my luggage. Hey, this is actually a pretty cool little app. This actually works really well. And the next time the airline misplaces my luggage, I'm not calling up and navigating through some phone tree to talk to a guy who knows less than I do. I'm going straight to that app. I'm getting answers. I know where my bag is. I know when it's going to be where I am. And I know I can follow it to the door of my hotel. I'm happier. I'm more confident. They didn't have to pay for the phone tree or the agent. And I'm not as pissed at them as I might have been otherwise. Everybody wins here. The airlines mostly, because of the cost and money that they save. For the price of a baggage tag, huge win. And all they had to do was use that baggage tag as part of a rewards program to help me build a habit of checking my bag status on the app. Helping your customers build habits this way is huge. It's a big win. If you have a particular customer communication that you want to send out, or if there's a closed community of people in your marketplace, have them check their in-app mail on a regular basis. Build a habit that way. It's a great way to make sure that people are getting communications from you. It's a really neat way to kind of build in that muscle of customers behaving the right way. Reward economics. This looks like these two are the same things, but they're not really. The first one is an item that pays for itself each time, like that pack of gems. Pays for itself every time. You don't care how many people know about that. It's fine, it's perfect. And then there are those things that pay for themselves on average. So on average, I mean, if I've signed up for a particular conservation company's newsletter, they know that I am likely to donate $100 more to their agency than I do if I don't sign up for the newsletter. So what do? They say, hey, tell you what, we're going to give you this cute little panda bear if you sign up for our agency's newsletter. And we know that on average, you'll donate $100 more. I may not, but I mean, you might give 150, you might give 150 more. On average, we'll give 150 more. The key point of this is you got to make sure you've got the law of large numbers working on your side. If you're just expecting 40 or 50 people to redeem this, you're not going to get enough numbers to make that on average thing really work for you. So make sure if you've got something that pays for itself on average, you're going to get enough people to take advantage of this reward so that it actually does work out on average over the long term. And that's an important thing to take a look at before you start any rewards program. How do you announce it? Well, there are a couple neat things about if you do this, you get that. It's straightforward, it's easy to communicate. Couple things about how you communicate it. Zero cost of goods sold, tell everyone. If you're going to give away a panda bear for signing up for a newsletter, be careful of the dad who's too cheap to go out and buy his niece a real Christmas present. I'm picking on this guy and his niece. It's possible that someone might want to game the system. Hey, by signing up for this stupid newsletter, I'm going to get a stuffed panda bear that I can gift to someone, and I never have to open and read the newsletters. Better to go ahead and say, listen, sign up for our newsletter, open 3 of them. When you've opened the 3rd one, we're going to send you a panda bear. It's really easy to find out if someone's opened your email when you send them a newsletter. And once they've read the title, once they've opened it and seen the banner, at that point it's up to you guys. That newsletter's got to be worthwhile content. We talked about that a few slides back. But at least you know that no one's going to try and game your system. No one wants to wait for 3 newsletters to go ahead and get the free panda bear. So that's how you message, do X, get Y. But you can also have something that are delightful surprises. Delightful surprises are very cool. You have a process in part of your sales cycle that takes a long time or is a pain. This is a remarkable tool for that. The process I'm thinking of is an online mortgage application. Anyone ever done that? Okay, good, don't. It's painful. You get halfway through, and then they ask for all the stuff that's crammed in your desk, and they want to have you go through all those files and papers and statements in your desk and photocopy some of them or submit them. Oh, what a pain. So most people, a lot of people, will just sort of pause the online application, and they'll get back to it later. How many people do you think actually get back to it later? Not as many as the bank wanted, for sure. So how does the bank prevent people from bailing out of a high-friction process like this? Well, they know where people bail out, because remember, they've got the data on their process. And right before people bail out, what they do is they say, hey, we really appreciate your applying for the loan online. And we know this is a long process. We wanted to let you know that as soon as you finish and submit, we're going to send you this really cool financial calculator as our way of saying thanks. Dang. They already had me. They've already sold me the product. I'm already applying for the loan. They don't need to offer me something to sell it to me again. They've already got my business. But they're going to give me a calculator because they know that this has kind of taken a while. What nice guys. I really appreciate that. And they want me to go into my drawer and get a bunch of stuff? Ugh, fine. They're nice guys. I'll go into my drawer. I'll get the stuff. I'm getting a calculator, and they're kind of nice people, so I guess I'll go ahead and do that. The completion rate jumps significantly for high-friction events when you can delight people and completely surprise them with a real-world delivered reward. Actually, this also works with digital rewards if you want to give someone a digital book or a free digital movie download. But delighting them with something they weren't expecting, very powerful. It creates another one of those moments that I'm talking about that helps define people's impression of working with you and your brand. Reward selection. What do you pick? I mean, with all those things at Amazon, you know, we got into analysis paralysis and we selected a stupid gift card. All right, don't do that. This will get easier for you as you kind of narrow down how much you want to spend on it. You can spend relatively little money and get a whole lot of bang for your buck. In one of the experiments that we did in the Appstore, we were working on getting people to complete a couple levels of a game that we'd given them. And the goal was to get on the leaderboard somewhere. And we said, if you play this game and get on the leaderboard, we'll give you $49. Everyone played till they got on the leaderboard. Play again and we'll give you $25. Everyone played. Do it again, we'll give you $10. Everyone played. $5. Everyone played. $2. Nobody played. All right. There is a curve, and it's a very, very steep curve. But it's at the really cheap end of the curve. How often does something like that happen? How often do you get lucky like that? It's at the very cheap end of the curve. So you don't have to offer a whole lot for things that are one-time actions that are simple to take, like signing up for a newsletter or buying a $50 gem pack. For filling out an online mortgage application, you need to kind of up the ante a little bit. You need to look at something that's more commensurate with either the personal information you're asking the user to give up or the amount of effort it takes for them to complete the action you want them to take, like the mortgage application. Those things kind of tend to take a little bit higher value prize. How much? I don't know. We're going to have to talk about that because it's going to depend on your business, your scenario, previous experience with a customer. So these are guidelines for you to think about and guidelines for you to use. But the more expensive, least expensive, those are pretty solid guidelines. Now, cohort selection. This is that targeting thing that I was excited about earlier. This is really neat, and you can target pretty much anyone that you can define programmatically. Programmatically, you know who's been a customer less than a year, who's been a customer more than a year. You know who's been a customer prior to a certain date or after a certain date. You know whether or not this person's been looking at a lot of your ads or not. There's no reason to spend good reward money on people that have a relatively low probability of ever converting. But if there's that person who's been looking at 2 or 3 of your ads over 1 or 2 weeks, you know that they're this close. And maybe offering them that rewards program is that little push over the edge that they need. Go ahead and target it to them. Perfect. I love how targeting rewards programs are. It's neat. Delightful surprises. Go ahead and pop those up right before they have a risk of churning out or abandoning the process. And again, this was particularly the case in terms of games. If someone's never going to buy something in your game, don't offer them a reward for staying in the game. You don't need to do that from a business perspective. But if you've got someone who has already spent money in your game and they're going through kind of a large, boring, grinding process, you don't want them to leave, so offer them that delightful surprise. For someone who's got a $25,000 or $30,000 mortgage, well, maybe you don't need to offer them a reward for completing the mortgage application. But if they're applying for a $500,000, $600,000 mortgage, well, shoot, maybe you want to up the game and have that calculator hand delivered or something. I don't know, but you can pick where it's worth it to you for what cohort to finish exactly the same action. You can offer different prizes to different cohorts for finishing the same action. Mortgage application, small mortgage calculator, big mortgage, I don't know, big calculator. So you guys can figure that out and you can do that targeting. Important things to remember about rewards. I know I've kind of dumped a lot on you. They're flexible. It's not just for selling stuff. You can do things for one action. You can do things for building a habit. It helps you retain customers. If you know where most of your customers drop out of the funnel, reward prior to that. If you have a customer and you know where most customers churn out and don't come back, reward in that part of your system. If you know that a specific group of customers is so close, don't offer a sale to everyone or even a rewards program to everyone. Target just that cohort. And remember that so few people will do this with real-world rewards that physical object is really important. One of our partners was doing this for a playable ad. We were doing some of that gamification stuff. Where's our gamification speaker? Oh shoot, she took off. Anyway, we totally works, by the way. I'm totally sold on gamification. Everything she said, remember, I liked it. A little late to tell you now, I know, but anyway. We were doing some gamification work, and they were selling a premium dog food, right? And everyone who would play the game would learn a little bit more about why this premium dog food was great. They finish the game, they get a coupon for a free sampler pack of the dog food that they could take to their retailer and get it. If they picked up the right collection of dog foods, they couldn't have the wrong size, they couldn't have like the wrong flavors, they had to pick up exactly what was on the coupon. That was a pain. Sometimes they were out of one but not the others. You couldn't come back, you had to get it all at once. Their redemption rate was below 2%. But when you do this and you can actually have the product delivered to you, all of a sudden it's, hey, you finished the game, click here to have your sample pack delivered. Their redemption rate went through the roof. It was actually one of those magical numbers, one of those huge improvements in numbers, magical numbers. And so don't ever discount the magic of just having the right thing delivered to your door. It's a moment. Now, to that, I want you to read 2 books. Both of these are by Dan and Chip Heath. I'm in love with these guys. They should pay me a commission on how many of their books that I've sold. Bottom line is, if I have 2 candidates for a job, one has read these books and puts them into practice, the other one has an MBA from Berkeley, forget the MBA from Berkeley. They think way too highly of everything they learned at Berkeley. I'm taking the guy who's read the Dan and Chip Heath books because this has been more valuable to me than any of the graduate school, this is how my book told me to do marketing. This is works on the ground stuff. In particular, The Power of Moments breaks down what fun is. And I'm going over, but this is worth it. One of the things they break down is Disneyland. Has anyone not been to Disneyland? I'm going to ask for your patience. Everyone else who has been to Disneyland, you'll get this, right? You get up insanely early in the morning to wait in a huge long line to spend a tremendous sum of money on some tickets that you can use to go spend in insanely long rides for a 60-second ride so that you can get off the ride, stand in a long line so that your daughter can get a picture with Minnie Mouse. You can stand in another long line to pay an insanely large amount of money for really bad food, and then wash, rinse, repeat for the rest of the day. Yet when you leave the park, you're thinking, oh my God, what a magical day. That was so much fun. I can't wait to come back. How do they do that? How? It's not the Magic Kingdom for nothing, guys. What they do is they understand the power of moments. And Dan and Chip Heath will walk you through that example really well. Because when you first show up at the park, they want to make it super welcoming. So right after you've gone through that line and spent that money, there is some sort of delightful experience they have that's going to be one of your first memories of being at Disneyland. The lines in the ride are actually interactive, and they're fun to play with now. So it seems shorter. You get to play with it, and there's a little bit of joy involved in playing with the line while you're in it. And the face in your daughter when she gets the picture with Minnie Mouse, I mean, that melts any dad's heart. And so these moments, Disney engineers them so that you forget all about the terrible food, the $750, and the 6 hours that you've spent in line. And you can't wait to go back and spend more money. If you want to learn how to do that with your brand, read Dan and Chip Heath. Seriously, they ought to pay me for this, don't you think? Anyway, guys, thank you very much. You've been very patient with me at the end of a long day. I'm around for questions and drinks. Thanks.